K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Holistic Health and Hot Mamas. I'm Jo Tierney. I'm here with Courtney Groves, and I believe Kathleen Ford is in the mix there. I see her. I don't see her camera, but I see her name. So, hi, ladies. I hear her. Hi, ladies.
Hey,
how was your week, and why can't we see you, Kathleen?
Well, I'm having a hair problem.
Well, I think you owe it to the viewers to show us your hair problem. That's what we do here. We're about full disclosure.
How's it look?
All right, the messy bun is in. You look fabulous. All right, so let's go to you. How's your week, Kathleen, besides the hair malfunction?
The hair malfunction? Going good, actually. A lot going on still at work, which I love because I love to keep busy. Sorry, now I'm having an eye problem. But my week went really good. Really good. I did leave the house a lot. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. That's a lie. I did leave the house and I went to see my son bowl a couple hours away. So that was really exciting to be able to see him. And he did a great job, won a medal. So that was a bonus for my week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting. And then he'll be home this weekend for another bowling tournament that just happens to be around here. So that's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. So I haven't seen him in a while, and now I get to see him 2 weekends in a row because he goes to college about 3.5 hours away. So it was exciting. For sure.
That is exciting. So that's all right. So is that that's your week? Is that your celebrations? That's all you have to celebrate, or you have more?
I think those are most of my celebrations. I did pretty good with drinking my water this week. I did a lot of reducing the creamer that I put in my coffee. So that was, another bonus for me because I do like a lot of cream, but I don't put sugar in anymore. So that's been a win for the last, couple months now. But I think that's it for the wins this week. Got out of the house. That's a win.
That's a win. And today was a nice day. I'm gonna bop over to the comments for a minute. We have Happy Wednesday coming in from Kimberly, listening from Target. Hope you have a great show. And she loves Kathleen's hair tonight. Agreed. And then Aaron
woke up.
Aaron Elizabeth, so nice to see your face. I miss you. As we talked about last week, I transitioned to a new job. Aaron and I have been together for many, many years. And she's one of my BFFs for sure. And I miss her face too. But luckily there's Facebook and we are going to see each other. So, hey, you could send you the link. Aaron Elizabeth, you could hop on camera. Then I could see your face too. Give that some thought. I can send you the link. So that would be fun.
Love that.
But so Cora, what about your celebrations? What's happening? And hopefully hopefully we'll have a fourth person on, Aaron Elizabeth. Think about that.
So this week is now the month of February, which I love February because it's mine and my daughter's birthday month. And I'm very happy that we seem to be out of the deep freeze, at least for now. It was very nice today, and I got to go for a 3.5-mile walk. So that was nice. It was a good, and I actually opened my window in my living room for a little while. My husband shut it pretty soon after that, but I got a little bit of fresh air.
That is fun. So what are my celebrations? Well, I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Do I have any celebrations? Where's my list? Oh, so the new job is going well, although I miss Aaron. And Becca, who is Aaron's wife, is saying, Joanne, you just made Aaron's day. She's so excited. So we want to send her the link to that. Get her on here. But so the new job's going well. The commute is great. I love my office. It's nice and bright and sunny. That's always a plus. What else? One of my friends got hired. Unfortunately, it's not Aaron Elizabeth. One of my friends is taking a position there and will be starting with me in 2 weeks. So I'll have one of my peeps there. That's awesome. I got one of my closets organized after, I have like 20 more to go, but I got something going on. I got one thing. And it really does. And it really started out, it was in the bathroom. And I said, I'm going to have to start to organize my makeup because I'm going to be under pressure in the morning now. And, it took me forever to do it, but it does feel good having one thing done. I got to keep going. I got to keep going and tackle the other ones. But the problem is by the time you get to the other ones, that the first one gets messy again.
Yeah.
So I got to keep on track of that. So those are my celebrations. Let's talk a little bit about our topic of the month. And remember, we talked last month, February was going to be, because it's the month of love, that our topic of the month is going to be do something nice for someone you love. So what do you think? Throw it to you, Court. What'd you do nice for anybody you love?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, well, I don't know if this really counts. So I got an email from my daughter's principal yesterday looking for lunch monitors and recess monitors. So I emailed back and said that I was interested, and I think that I may have been chosen. So that made my daughter super happy that I get to see her at school, hopefully.
That is exciting. What about you, Kathleen? What about you? So,
Well,
what did you do for someone you loved? I'm sure you paid for some snacks this weekend at the bowling alley, but
I did do that.
what else do you have?
Well, my husband complains about the sheets all the time, and y'all know, well, anyone that knows me knows I don't part with money well or quickly or swiftly. But I did dish out like $62 on new king-size Egyptian cotton sheets for him. So,
my God.
Nice.
That is nice. That's actually a bargain. $62. Sheets are like crazy expensive.
I know.
Yeah.
I was a bargain shopper. That was a little too steep for me, but I still swung it for him. And they're actually in the washer right now.
All right, perfect. All right, we're going to bring our special guest on, our featured correspondent, Erin Elizabeth. Welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Look at your shiplap in the background. That looks nice.
Welcome to the program. Hi.
You're going to have to mute because we can hear ourselves.
Hold on, Becca. Hold on. I'll go in another room.
You're going to have to mute because we can hear ourselves.
All right, I'm going. Okay, now I can. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Well, you're getting a special welcome. Kimberly's saying welcome on the side. So we're talking about our celebrations for the week, and we have in our topic of the month, which is doing something nice for someone you love. So jump in. You have either one of those, anything to celebrate? Or
Well,
anything to celebrate publicly?
not yet. But I will say, for doing something nice tonight, I cooked Dawn some dinners. And so I'm going to drop off my mother-in-law some dinners with the snow coming up. I made cheeseburger and some chicken. So
that is nice.
That's so nice.
You are a good daughter-in-law.
I know.
All right. So what about you? Did we talk to you and we covered everybody. So then our next topic is 2022 is the year of you. I am dedicating myself for the next 3 weeks. Today is 2/2/22 to 2/22/22. So all the twos in between there is exactly 3 weeks. And I decided I'm going to give myself a Valentine's Day present. I'm not going to do all of these things. I was going to be very ambitious. And I said I was going to do all of these things every day, but already I didn't do that. So I'm going to do 3 meals. And for anybody who knows me, and Erin knows me well, I'm not going to count calories, which is very, very difficult for me to do. I'm going to try not to do too much snacking, and drink a gallon of water a day, exercise daily, and keep up with my skincare routine, which I don't always do. So for the next 3 weeks, that's my plan. But first I want to say, Becca is saying it was very sweet for you to make meals for her mom. And Ryan is so excited to see mommy on screen. So hi, Ryan. So, and now we're excited to see Ryan on screen.
Hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Say hi.
He's like, I'm out.
Mommy's one thing, but those other three ladies they're a deal breaker. All right. So what about you guys? It's 2022 is the year of you. What are you doing for yourselves this month or this week?
That's a hard
Nobody?
one. I never do anything for myself.
Well, I've been making a point. So I think I talked a couple weeks ago. I started writing like a to-do list in the morning just to get my thoughts organized in the day and make sure I can get what I need to get done. And also this week I just started writing just like a little, not like real journaling, but just like a few sentences about how I felt my previous day went. And I think that helps me, make better decisions for the day ahead. So that's what I started doing this week.
That's impressive. I'm going to talk a little bit about that when we get to Tierney's tidbits. But hold on one second. Hi, Bobby Benedict. Hi, welcome. Hi, Joanne. Glad to be here finally again. We're glad to have you here. Bobby's always one of our biggest supporters and whatever, even way back in the beginning when we were doing Zooms back in the day. Remember that, ladies? And Bobby was part of our crew back then. So here she is again. So perfect. Great. So what are you doing for yourself, Erin? What do you do for yourself? I know you said you were going to try the protein shakes and do things like that. How's that going?
Yeah, so definitely for my month of February, my goal was to get a little bit more back on track with eating and drinking water. You know how I am with my water, but also starting the protein shakes that you gave me. So I didn't start yet, but I did start my watching what I'm eating, and I did take all 3 children for a run yesterday. So
wow.
I'm starting to get back into a little more physical activity, and then I think the eating will fall in place. But I think focusing on, getting after having the baby 8 months ago, I want to start getting back in shape. I want to train for my marathon, and I want to focus on professionally getting in a good spot.
I like all of those things. But you sound like an overachiever, so we may not be able to invite you back on again. That's just too much for us. Marathoning, watching what we eat, and up leveling professionally. Yeah, that's too much for one month.
Yeah, you had me at marathon.
Yeah. We almost kicked you off at that word. You almost had to move. But I want to go back to when you say that. When you say you took all 3 kids for a run, I don't know if the viewers really understand what that entails. I mean, tell the viewers a little bit about your posse. It's a newborn baby. Ryan, who's how old is Ryan? 5.
Ryan's 4. Yep.
4
5 and 9. Yep.
And then you got Jake, who's 2, and that's a lot to take them on a run for sure.
Yes. Yep. So getting them in my new wagon I have alone is a feat, but then getting them buckled in to sit the whole time, not be yelling. I was very proud of myself, and they did good. So it was a good time.
Yeah, perfect. And Bobby's saying congrats on your baby, Erin.
Thank you.
And Justin is telling us you need to spend money for your husbands on Valentine's Day. Now then he's saying the husbands better do something for the ladies. I like that comment better, Justin. Yeah. And we'll say significant others because not everybody has a husband. Sometimes they have a wife. So that's something to run. And if Becca's watching on there, I think that applies to Becca and not to you, Erin. I think that we'll tell her. So Cora, you making the list. Kathleen, what about you? What have you been doing for yourself? Or plan to do for yourself? And this is our plan for the year. So 2022 is the year of you. So you have time. Oh, here we have another special guest. Hi, Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Can you say hi? Your face is covered.
And while we're waiting for Kathleen to think, we have Becca saying, just hold on a minute. Hold on. All right, we're kidding. Erin's going to have to get you something too. She's right. She said we can do something nice for each other. I love that premise. So that is doing something. That's our monthly topic, doing something nice for someone you love. So that certainly qualifies there.
Well, I know you guys know I'm on a weight loss journey, so I'm hoping to continue on. I will be continuing on that journey. So at the end of the year, I'm excited to see where I'm at. I'm definitely trying to get more sleep. I'm very much a night owl, and I work a lot of hours. So usually, I'm getting off just before this call, and then I'm hopping on this call, and then I do some downtime, like on Wednesdays, or if I'm not on this call, I'm probably still working. So I'm just trying to, shut down a little earlier and try to get some more rest, because I think that also has a lot to do with, where I'm at in my journey.
Yeah, I agree. So Kim is saying hi, Maddie. Gigi saying hi, Maddie.
Wait,
But I also want to say that I think that, and I don't know, Aaron, if you want to be a regular, but we're certainly welcome to having you on as a host, of one of our hosts every week. But I think for Kathleen in particular, and this show is doing something for yourself. Because it's something you enjoy, you like coming on. We have the camaraderie. Aaron, it'd be us working together again. Here we are. We're not breaking the streak. We got to keep going. The show is the show.
You twisted my arm. You twisted my arm. I'm available.
All right, perfect. So Aaron and I are back in the saddle again. Like that, 2022 really is the year of us. And Aaron actually has a very different perspective and a new perspective as a young mother. I think that would be, Court, you're a young mother too, but you, Aaron is a young, older mother, right?
Yep.
Which is a different perspective. She's had she's had some difficult pregnancies under her belt, her first one in particular, but I think that gives a different perspective. And she can really speak to the journey of women. And this is one of her passions, women returning to the workplace postpartum. So I think that those are all good topics, and we can add a new segment on. So Aaron, you can start exploring that here if you want. I think that that's a great idea, and I'd love to do that.
That sounds great.
All right, perfect. So then our next segment, some of our segments tonight are going to be, this one's fun. This is our topic of the week, which is festive foods and drinks. I don't know if anybody has one, but I looked up a couple of things. So for Super Bowl foods, I found these. I used to love, and I don't know if you remember, Aaron, actually, we'd go to Pinto and Hobbs. I always got the French dip, but now I found a great recipe for French dip sliders. They look amazing for the Super Bowl. You melt some butter, put some thyme and onion in the skillet. Then you discard the thyme when the onions are caramelizing. You just use deli meat, so it's not really that difficult. You throw the roast beef deli meat on the bun with the little slider bun. On the bottom, you put the provolone on top. You brush butter on top of the sliders, sprinkle with garlic powder, and bake them until the cheese is melted, and then serve au jus on the side. So I love that. Super Bowl, I might do that for lunch. We have a toaster oven in the office. Do you think they'd mind? I got my little crock pot back in action. I'll be sauteing the onions at my desk and then throwing everything into the toaster. They'll love me down there. My first foray into my personal chef journey on the job. So that'll be fun. What about you guys? Do you have any special foods for the Super Bowl, or you just do the traditional types of fare?
I'm just a traditional kind of girl, so traditional wings, pizza, plain wings, boring. How about you, Courtney?
Well, I probably shouldn't say this on this network, but we don't really do much for the Super Bowl. If we're invited somewhere, we'll go, but if not, we're not really that into it.
All right. Well, I do it for I can't wait. I don't know if you guys have seen the memes on TikTok, and it probably doesn't mean much to you, Court, but Aaron and Kathleen it would, where the memes are all saying, simultaneously across the nation, kids are going to find out what their parents are all about and who they really are when they start crip walking in the middle of the Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to that show. I used to love those guys. And not all the time, but I disagreed with some of the things. But Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Lover, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg, I think it's going to be an amazing Super Bowl event for sure.
It's really a concert, and they're going to have a football game around it.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said. I love that too. Bobby's giving us a tip. Boar's House is a great London broil sliced at the deli counter for anybody who wants to try those French dip sliders. And Aaron took a little bit of a foodie. What do you have on tap for the Super Bowl?
We usually do like a little spread, but nothing fancy. Usually we will do pizza, wings, veggies. We do a lot of veggies. So nothing crazy.
All right, great. So let's get into what's more important, the Super Bowl cocktail. I found a great recipe for the Touchdown Teeny, and I'm going to try it on Super Bowl Sunday. So it's vodka, pineapple juice, a splash of orange juice, some cream of coconut, or a cream of coconut is pretty high packed in. If anybody ever had it, there's a ton of calories in that. But you can put coconut seltzer in it for less calories and a splash of grenadine, and it sounds amazing to me. I'm going to give that a try.
That does sound really good.
I might have to test it a couple times leading up to the Super Bowl. And then for Valentine's Day, there are a lot of heart-shaped foods. I found like even shrimp cocktail, arrange it and I know Aaron, you do a great thing for Valentine's Day. I'm gonna have you talk about that. But I saw since the how do you say it? The charcuterie boards or the charcuterie boards are the in rage. So a lot of people took like mini cookie cutters and cut the soft cheeses into cheese-shaped wedges and then served that. And sometimes they did the pepperoni or the meats into little heart shapes and, served it with olives and raspberries and strawberries and what else? Crackers, nuts, and heart-shaped chocolate. So I think that's a fun idea too.
Or you could just have a complete dessert charcuterie board. Seeing that?
That's a good one too. Aaron, talk about what you get every Valentine's Day.
Well, it's just always our tradition. We always get a heart-shaped pizza. So we've done a few different places, but the last time we had kind of a bad experience. I won't say the name of the place, but we had a hair in it. So ever since then, it's kind of we've been looking for some other places to do it, but that's always been our tradition the last 7 years. We do a heart-shaped pizza.
That's fun.
Kids like it. Yeah.
That's fun. And then of course we have what about you, Court?
So I just wanted to say you can still have a romantic dinner date. Like my husband and I, we usually go out for Valentine's Day, and you can still have a romantic dinner date without going overboard on the treats. So I was just going to say, if you're going out or if you're making a romantic dinner, the best thing to do, obviously if it's a special day, you can treat yourself. But if you're trying to be mindful, I would do a half plate of veggies, a quarter plate of a carb like a sweet potato or some rice, and then a quarter plate of a protein like salmon or shrimp or steak. And then that way you can, still be mindful, but have a really good dinner date.
Yeah, you might be kicked off with Aaron on that one. You and Aaron are both off.
High five.
So for those of you who are keeping track, that's certainly, I think the holidays you can give yourself a break, but a lot of people don't. And there have been times when I've been super strict. I mean, it's hard for me to even say that in this day where I'm much more flexible than I used to be. So I think those are all great ideas. And now I'm going to segue right into Cupid's cocktail. That's my, I like the cocktails now. So I'm going to try this as well. It's vodka, white rum, cranberry juice, raspberry syrup, and frozen raspberries. So that sounds
like it's right up my alley.
I know. So we're gonna have to try that one as well. All right, so enough about all that. So now we're going to talk about our global topic. I don't know if you guys have anything, but I found it very troubling this weekend when I heard about Chesley Christ's death, and I don't know if you read about it, the young Miss USA. She's only 30 years old. She's an extra correspondent. She actually, she was such an impressive woman on so many fronts. She was a lawyer. She had an MBA. She went to, I believe she went to Yale. I'm pretty sure she went to, let me look. I'm not sure if she went to Yale or not. I don't want to say that because I'm going to speak about somebody else later who went to Yale. So I may be getting that confused, but she was certainly prominent. She was young and beautiful, successful by any standard, I think by any public standard. But it goes to speak to the fact that we don't know what anybody is struggling with on a personal level. She was renowned, and as well, she was historic. She was a part of the Historic Four, who in 2009, she and 3 other Black women were the first group of Black women to hold titles in all 4 pageant titles: Miss USA, Miss America, Miss Teen USA, and Miss Universe. And she was very proud of that. But I found it very interesting, and I don't know how much you guys read about it, but just at 30 years old, she was already struggling with the fact that she was getting older. And I don't know if that contributed to it, but she spoke about that. So I find that, aging is really difficult, I think, for some women. And even her family was shocked. Her friends were shocked. Nobody seemed to know or recognize her colleagues that she was struggling. And obviously she was struggling with something. There were no signs of alcohol or drug substances in her system whatsoever. She had sent out that Instagram post, a beautiful selfie of herself, and said, "May this day bring you rest and peace." So for me, I want to remind people that having it all, when people seemingly have it all, especially today in the social media age, and we're all posting our best selfies and we put our filters on, and it's funny, I see people who I think look phenomenal, and then they're in a candid shot that somebody else takes of them, and they don't have the opportunity to put a filter on, and they look like a different person to me sometimes. And I think that we should be mindful and we oftentimes prejudge celebrities or anybody in our circles who we believe are attractive and have a happy, perfect, idyllic life, when the reality is nobody has those things. And there are different degrees of life, but depression and mental illness isn't solely relegated to people that others deem as unattractive. Everybody struggles throughout their lives, and I think this is just another painful reminder of the crisis, the mental health crisis that is plaguing America today. And some of that, I believe, can be attributed to COVID. And many people are isolated, and we don't realize that. So, reach out to people, and if you see anybody struggling, and don't forget the families too. I think oftentimes we don't know what to say, so we don't say anything. But I'm thinking about you goes a long way. It helps people, loved ones, realize that they're not alone. And if you're missing somebody too, say it and empathize and show some degree of empathy. I was reading something today where others said, just the fact if somebody drops off, even if they don't say anything, they drop off a meal to me, or, it just seems it's not even about the food, because most people get overburdened with food, but they said it's almost as if, it was like a virtual hug, a baked good or a casserole. And it takes some type of real action, and so show support to anybody that, might be struggling with mental illness, or somebody who's lost somebody who's struggling with mental illness, even if it's simply sharing, a memory with that person, because we don't know. Think about our parents and our relatives, and we don't know every detail of their lives. But I love to hear about something to do with when somebody posts a memory about my father, or my father tells me something. I love hearing that, because it gives me an entirely different view and perspective, and it reminds us that, of the humanity of people that we don't always think about in those terms. Every parent was somebody's boyfriend, or somebody's heartbreak. right? And think about the men who have broken our hearts along the line. I have to probably, I don't know if he's listening tonight, but my father probably broke some young girl's heart sometime. And that's just an entirely different perspective of people in our lives. And Bobby saying she read, not saying it's true, that she was being bullied on social media. And maybe that is true, but even so, I mean, a 30-year-old woman that has to be, being impacted by that, being bullied on social media, which is so wrong in itself. But the impact that the opinions of others mattered more to her than her own self-worth. I mean, so that's saying something. So what do you guys think? I don't want to monopolize this conversation, but those are the thoughts I had on it.
Yeah, I just think it's super important. Like you said, you don't know what somebody is going through. Even if you put them up on this pedestal, everyone is going through something. So I think, while you're going about your day, if you encounter somebody who may, not be having the best day, just treat them with grace, and because you don't know what they're going through. And just a smile could brighten somebody's day. So just go about your day and treat everyone kindly.
I think that brings up an important point, and you reminded me of something, because there have been times in my life when I have dealt with someone who's particularly difficult, and in actuality is wreaking havoc in my life. And sometimes that's impossible, I could say that there are people in our lives who I believe have mental illness, and especially on a professional level, when they're impacting your life, it's let's say this: treat them with kindness, which we, and which I have done in the past, and I know others have as well. But at the same time, you can't be a martyr to them either. If they're wreaking havoc in your personal life, you have to find a way to step away. That's not to say we don't wish that person well and compassion, but at the same time, we don't allow yourself to be abused by anybody who's mentally ill either. I think that's an important caveat to throw in there as well. And Justin, I want to point out, Justin's pointing out many people who, Naomi Osaka, another tennis player who struggled through mental illness. Simone Biles struggled, not mental illness, but depression and different types of things. And she was obviously part of that sexual assault trial. Calvin Ridley has had mental illness. So when I say mental illness, I want to recategorize that. There's some type of mental distress. It doesn't mean you're really ill. It just means that their mental health. They were facing some mental health struggles. I'll rephrase it in that regard. So what do you guys think about that? I'm sure you face people in your lives who, I'm going to throw it to you, Erin.
Well, I think to kind of piggyback on what you said, I think there are certain times when you can only go so far with certain people, and you have to kind of learn to just disengage and realize that maybe they aren't the best of people, and kind of deal with them on a different way, and kind of, like I said, disengage. So, for me personally, my last pregnancy, I had the absolute worst postpartum anxiety after having my last daughter. Work was extremely stressful, and I think that some of the people that I had come across or encountered were not necessarily the most understanding of that. So I think dealing with that and having that experience for myself definitely always makes you more compassionate to other people. And Joanne kind of spoke to it a little bit, but one of my things that I am very, very aware of, especially now, is mothers returning to work after having children, and what does that look like for them. And one of the things that I always say is, after I had one of the hardest going back to work experiences after having, and this is one thing I always think of, is when I'm having a bad day. I remember I was crying. I was so upset. And I remember Joanne came into my office and just said to me, "What do you need me to do? I'm going to do what you have to do." And it was like a work assignment. And that always makes me smile, because I think of Joanne just charging in there and doing it. So, that's something that I always think of when I'm having a bad day, or, it was a really hard time in my life. And Joanne, just that one little thing that she said to me, that it made me smile and laugh and help me get through it. So I think, having an understanding for people, the circumstances that they're going through, but also an understanding that not everyone is going to have that level of compassion or willingness to learn about what other people are going through.
Agreed.
I love that story.
Well, I'm going to throw in that luckily she didn't take me up on it because I had no idea how to do it. But I would have tried. I was willing to try. I was willing to put my boots up and get out there in the field. And that would have been pretty comical, but I would have done it. What about you guys, Court and Kathleen?
I mean, I think mental health is prevalent in, my extended family. And I've learned a lot throughout my life. I think, losing my mom at such a young age really gave me a lot of anxiety about life in general, how to deal with people. And I think I always try to keep and remind myself what my mother told me on her deathbed is get out there, and you have one life to live, get out there and live it. But part of the meaning for me and remembering is that she wants me to be happy, and I can't, regress to, sadness all the time about her death, although there are many, many days that I spent a lot of time thinking and very sad about losing my mom, but always knowing that she's here with me. So I think just always knowing that you never, like you guys were saying, never know what anybody is going through. Like February 17th is my mom's birthday. Me and my sister try to take it off every year and do something special together to, honor my mom on her birthday and just be there with her. So we were just actually talking about that. But just knowing you don't know what's going on. And I feel terrible for her, the woman that took her life, and as well as, the many other people that take their lives out of, anger. The boy behind us just lost his life to the same thing, mental illness. And it's just, I didn't even know that he was going through it, like we're talking about. You just never know what people are going through, but you also can't let them walk all over you too. So it's a tough line.
It's a tough line. And suicide is really a polarizing topic. And we speak about it in this instance. It's somebody who had a degree of celebrity. And then this week as well, or last week, Regina King's son, the actress. But we see those accounts in the media. But there are just countless and the thousands of other people who aren't famous who are also struggling as well. And we certainly want to honor their lives too. I mean, it isn't simply about one person who's in the media and in the spotlight. That just shines another, it just shines our focus back on it. But the reality is, there are people in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our families who, we had an impact our own family and even my husband's family as well. It's just so I don't want to say common, but it's much more, it happens much more often than I think people realize.
I agree.
So let's go to, I wanted to say something and I forgot, but I forgot what it was going to be. So let's go to Courtney's Corner. What do you got for that?
So since February, it's February now, and it's the month of love, and I just wanted to remind everybody to practice some self-love this month. Self-love can look different for everybody. It doesn't have to be an expensive trip to the spa. So I just want to remind everybody to, do whatever brings you joy. Get outside, read a book, take 15 minutes of silence in the morning with your coffee, go on a date, do whatever brings you happiness and makes you feel, calm, relaxed, and like your best self. What do you guys like to do for self-love and self-care?
I like to sleep or read or play Candy Crush.
Those are all good. I don't know. I don't even want to say this because I don't know if it really should be considered as self-care, but I do enjoy TikTok a little bit now. I don't know if it's self-care, but it's a little bit of entertainment. And lately I've been crazy about my skincare routine. I don't know if it's because I'm aging or this sun, but I'm crazy about moisturizing now. Like I do all these things and I really think some of it's because of my freckles. I don't, they used to be cute little freckles. Now it seems like there's a cluster of 10 in one spot, and I don't consider that a freckle. Somebody said it's like I forgot. Somebody called it something today, like a post, I don't know, post summer freckle. I'm thinking that's not the technical term, but I'll go with it. But so I've been using these lightening creams, which do seem to help, and I'm sure it'll come back in the summer. But I might have to just go with the little tattooed freckles. You know how they're doing that now. That's the in trend. But I do want to go back to something, and I remembered what I was going to say, and it was about your mom, Kathleen. And I just want to talk about your mother a little bit. So your mom was probably the hardest working woman I know. Back in the day, she would be working 3 jobs. She was a single parent, really trying to support 4 children at a time when, women weren't given preferential treatment in the workplace. And not that they are now, but we certainly made great strides. And I think so many parts of your mother's life were difficult. I mean, she did not have an easy journey by any means. And she was sweet and funny. And, she used to call me every birthday and pretend she was Tom Cruise because she knew I had this huge crush on Tom Cruise back then. And she would, sing me happy birthday and tell me Tom Cruise was coming for me. I mean, luckily I can say today he never did come for me, and I'm relieved about that. but now when I think about your mom, especially in those last years when she was really in pain, and I just think that, I think that she suffered with some depression and then she had the physical pain, and I just think she's at peace now, and she's getting, the rest that she never got in her life. And remember, she used to go right after working 3 jobs. She'd go right up into a room and because she was tired, she was tired. And I think when we were younger, I always thought to myself, my gosh, Aunt Ann sleeps a lot. But now I know, I do the same thing now at 9 o'clock after working. I take my makeup off, I get in my PJs and I'm in bed. So, I think that, she's getting some long-deserved rest and she's at peace, and she would definitely want you to be happy. I know that for a fact.
Agree. Yeah, she used to work a full-time job, but before that full-time job, she worked a whole full-time overnight job.
I know.
Wow. And then she would go cook for priests after her job, so she was sleeping from after she was done cooking till she went to her overnight job.
And didn't she too used to work at the gas station, or didn't she work at like the store?
That was her overnight job. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was at St. Clair's overnight at times. She had a whole ton of jobs throughout her life, and she was a very hard worker.
Yes.
All right. So, all right, Erin. So what do you? Oh, you're welcome. So, what do you do for self-care, Erin?
Well, I like to work out, so definitely the running portion of things. Even if I just do a quick mile, I just feel like a new person afterwards. But it's funny you mentioned the skincare, only because my skin has been so bad after breastfeeding and having the baby and stuff. So I did find a new skincare line that my sister kind of hooked me up with. It's super reasonably priced, and it's just made such a big difference, especially with it being so dry out. But so I definitely every morning have been doing my skincare, and I am a big runner. So those are 2 things I like to do.
All right. So shout out the product in case somebody wants to give it a shot.
Get it. Hold on. Hold, please.
All right. Hold. We're holding. I mean, this is funny, and I'll tell you guys this while we're waiting on Erin. So the closet that I happened to be cleaning out was the cabinet under my bathroom sink, and then my little bathroom. It's not okay.
No, go ahead, finish your thing.
It's not really a linen closet. It's supposed to be a linen closet, but I use it as like a medicine cabinet. And so when I clean that out, you could not believe how many. I don't believe I'm ever gonna have to buy cleanser, moisturizer, because it was scattered all over. Makeup. I'm like, I wonder if I have any makeup. Oh my gosh, I have so many, like 10 of every one thing. So I have plenty of moisturizers. If anybody needs any Vaseline, I have about 12 tubes. So that could be fun on Valentine's Day. We'll keep that in mind. All right. So what's the product, Erin?
So the product it's called The Ordinary, and it's a bunch of different serums. It's the Abnormal Beauty Company. It was so reasonably priced. I think for like 7 steps. So it's like a moisturizer. This is like the solution for fine lines. It was like $70 at Ulta. So it was really cheap, and I love it so much. It's been definitely helping with like fine lines and, dryness. So I highly recommend it. The Ordinary.
The Ordinary. Okay. The Ordinary for people who aren't ordinary at all. I like the fine line piece. I'm going to give that a shot. I'll have to I can't. I'll have to try that in 7 years when I run out of my products. So Tierney's Tidbits, that's our next segment. We're going to have to come up with something for, we have Ford's Facts, and now what are we going to have for Erin's? What are we going to have, Erin's?
That's a thing.
How about Erin's? Erin's. I don't like that.
Yeah, that sounds like work. All right, give it some thought. So Tierney's Tidbits, I want to talk about, Courtney was talking about setting goals. And, I always have like these big picture goals. Who knows what I'm going to do, paint the house in 2 days. I always have these lofty, ambitious goals. And so now I've been rethinking it. And I think that setting many goals has always been much more successful for me. And I've done that, but now I'm going to start rewarding myself when I achieve them. I'm going to set it down into bite-sized pieces. And I think that gives you long-term vision and short-term motivation, which will help keep you going. And it also helps you to earn credibility with yourself. If I set a short-term goal and I meet it, then I feel as if I'm, I've done something and accomplished something, and I have a little bit of pride in that. So and so I was thinking about the rewards. Oftentimes, I don't know what the reward would be. I don't need any more clothes. I have 1 million of those, so it's not about clothes. But I was thinking something I would love to do, and since Kathleen's on, so when I meet my first small goal, I'm thinking I'm going to book a girls' trip. We don't do that often enough. Or, and I forget all the things that I said I'm going to do, but that's one. Or, maybe I'll get a pedicure. I don't always get them in the winter. Get a facial. I like doing that. I don't do it often enough. A massage. Who knows? Or maybe even just go to a movie. I haven't gone to a movie since pre-COVID. I haven't been to the movies. I used to go to the movies all the time. So I think small rewards help you stay focused. And if you envision the big picture and break down into small targets, but you got to have a plan to do it. You have to set realistic goals. I mean, let's say you have a weight loss goal, you're not going to lose 50 pounds in a week. Write down the goals. Courtney said that too, write down the goals and then prioritize them. You got to have a plan to get to where you want to go. Create to-do lists. Courtney spoke about that. And then review and update as necessary. Your plan is just that, a plan. It doesn't mean it's an absolute. It may have to be modified and adjusted, and feel free to do that. Don't hold yourself. I used to be, if I didn't do anything perfectly the way I said I was going to do, I considered myself a failure. But there's not failure. We're not looking for perfection. That doesn't exist. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, I love the mini goals. I do that for myself also. Like 1 week I'll focus on water, and then I'll focus on water and nutrition, and then water and nutrition and exercise. And you just add things as you go. I think that's a method that works well for most people.
Erin, can I ask you this? So when you're talking about training for a marathon, I mean, do you have a plan for that? And is that something I would love to follow on that and see how it goes? I think that's a very interesting track, because you're really going from, how far do you run today to get to 26 miles? I mean, you're not what's your average mile? What's your average mileage for the week at this point?
Yeah, so my goal is by 40, so I have 2 years to run a full marathon. So I've been doing a little bit of research about, like, realistically, how long does it take for an average person who's not overly I wouldn't say overly athletic, but someone who's not maybe running that long of a distance. And they said usually it takes about a year. So right now, with it being kind of winter out, I'm just starting to get back into running. Really, I'm only at a mile. I've done some 5Ks, but I think, by next year I'd like to do a half marathon. So that's, the 13 miles. So I think that gradual increase, once it starts getting nicer out, I'll start doing, 5 miles a day or so every few days, and just gradually increasing until I can do that half marathon. But they do have plans out there you can follow. And so I think it's definitely going to be a process. It's going to be time consuming, but I think there's a lot of good guidance out there already, which is good, because I think you've all seen, like, the Couch to 5K. It's a similar program like that. So there's training plans out there, and I mean, it's good to have access to, like, an indoor track so you can continue year round. But, with just having the baby, I'm just starting to get into it. So I'm giving myself some.
So I think that's great. So we're starting really from ground zero,
Yep.
And we could give some updates along the way. That would be a great segment, where, because other people may, I've thought about that, but, I did walk a marathon once with my father, and just, it's not really my thing. but I do enjoy a 5K. I do like that. And maybe that would be a great goal for we could join you on a 5K. We're not you could run it a couple times if you need to up your miles, and sometimes there's a combo 5K, 10K.
Yeah.
So maybe that can be some goals that we could challenge ourselves. I mean, Courtney and I have talked about it, a triathlon or something. We wanted to find something that, we could sink our teeth in and to challenge. I bought a chin-up bar this week, because I always said I wanted to do that. So I might set that up, and that'll probably take me 2 years to get that. You'll be running the marathon. I'll be doing one chin-up.
Well, I'll do some research. Maybe I'll find a triathlon we could do this summer.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. That's something that I'd like to do. Wouldn't you, Court?
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a couple 5Ks before, but the triathlon sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
Let's do it.
And I know you two, Courtney and Kathleen, you don't realize this, but Aaron and we were going to be, we were trying to be on The Amazing Race as a duo. We may have to open up that idea again, but you have too many children now.
Well, pause. We got to do it.
That is one goal that we said we wanted to do, is to be on The Amazing Race. We might have to campaign for that now. That would be fun. Can you imagine that? Yeah, I know some people who would be, and Becca saying that was truly amazing. It really was. We're going to bring that back, Beck. That's not retired yet. It's one of our truly ambitious goals. So then I pulled the cards, and everybody, now that Aaron's on, you can see that Aaron gave me these cards as a gift, the table topic cards, which are very interesting. I was just pulling them out of the box one at a time, but this time, because I do want to honor Black History Month, which is February. So I want to talk about a woman in history, and I like to talk about one woman from history and one woman who's from today. So Marion Wright Edelman, she was, her biggest quote, well, not her biggest quote, but one of a great quotes was, "If you don't like the way the world is, you have an obligation to change it. Just do it one step at a time." So I love that quote. She was the first African-American woman admitted to the Mississippi bar after graduating from Yale's law school in 1963. She was an attorney with the NAACP. She represented civil rights activists in the 1964 Freedom Summer Marches. She then moved to D.C. to continue her civil rights work with Martin Luther King Jr.'s Poor People's Campaign. But this is probably my favorite part about her. She founded the Children's Defense Fund in 1973 to advocate for poor children, children of color, and children with disabilities. So I just think that that's really a Black woman back in the 1960s and 70s making that kind of difference, really, in advocating for someone else and some of our most vulnerable people in the population. I just think that she's certainly one of the heroines of our time, and a woman who certainly changed some course, some part of America. So I love her. And then, I talked about, who is and there are many up and coming, young women of color, but I still like Amanda Gorman. And one of the reasons I like her, and I don't know if you guys remember her, I'm sure Aaron does, but I'm sure you all do. She was the young poet laureate at the Biden's inauguration. She was a young Black woman, but she was only 22. She made U.S. history. But the thing I love about her is she grew up in LA, and this is something near and dear to my heart because, of course, my two of my sons actually really struggled with speech impediments, and Alex still does. But she started writing to cope with having a speech impediment. She rarely spoke, and then she really turned herself around. She started writing, and really not with the intention to become a speaker, but she became a speaker. By age 16, she was named the Youth Poet Laureate of Los Angeles. She really, at 19, she became the first national Youth Poet Laureate while studying sociology at Harvard. And she typically writes about race and gender. So she's really advocating for two vulnerable populations. And she was invited to the inauguration by First Lady Jill Biden, who's really, she's a teacher, and students really matter to her. And I think she recognized that in Amanda. And, Maya Angelou is one of her inspirations, and I love how she's following in her footsteps. What about you? You guys have any inspirational women besides the four of us? And there's Maddie back again. She's an inspirational woman. She's going to change America in 10 years.
She's tired.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Say it loud.
A teacher?
Do you want to be a teacher? Yeah.
Oh, you will be a great teacher.
She gets a lot of practice teaching her little sister.
And her big cousins. Justin saying we should do Survivor. No, we're not. We don't want to be in a loincloth. So yeah, Survivor's out for us. Yeah. I don't think I could do that. But we're shooting for Justin. Get on that. Get us the application. Justin's one of my main researchers. Look into how we can get on The Amazing Race. So, all right. So our challenges of last week was to learn something new. It was easy for me because I was on a new job and I'm learning some new things. I actually learned some new Excel strategies. I used to think that I was like the Excel wizard, but I'm really not. I'm learning that there's so much I don't know about Excel. I know some things, but I thought that was fun.
Wow, that's surprising because I feel like you would be the one teaching them about Excel.
Well, there's some things I don't know. I know I'm very savvy in the formulas, but there are other things. There's pivot tables and VLOOKUPs and a lot of more complicated things that I'm rusty on or I haven't really done. And it ties in with Access, which is a different database. So yeah, I'm learning all that new stuff. So we'll see how it goes. So what about you guys? What did you learn new this week?
I learned that my son made the dean's list at RIT.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that was exciting. I don't think I learned anything else this week that I can think of.
I learned that I found a Disney movie that I love, and I actually watched it by myself while my kids were sleeping.
Which one?
And the new one, Encanto.
Encanto.
I haven't seen it.
Do you love that movie? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll be a good one to show your students when you're a teacher, Maddie.
Right.
What about you, Eric? Did you learn anything new?
I don't. So nothing this. I'll try for next week.
And then, so what's going to be our challenge for the week? I found one for myself. I'm going to, because I started a new job and I have to be ready in the morning. So this week I got all my work clothes ready on Sunday, but now I'm going to expand that. I'm going to get my workout clothes ready, my jewelry ready, my water's ready, because it does make a difference in my morning when I have everything ready. And because I get there a little early, I've also decided I'm going to start, and I used to do this at DCJS, but putting my makeup on when I get there. So it saves me that 10 minutes is, because I get there early, I just shut my office door, throw it on, it takes 5 minutes, and it just saves me time at home. And the only reason I could do it at home, but I have to get my sons out the door and give them a ride. So, I have to hear the pressure of me getting them there late. So I'm doing it for selfish reasons. So what do you guys want to do? Do you have a challenge for, what do you want to challenge yourself, or do you want us to think of a challenge? What do you think?
Well, I want to know if you finally made your routine physicals and your mammograms and your colonoscopy appointments. That's what I want to know.
Well, I'm good for the colonoscopy for about 5 years. I did get that already, so I don't need that one yet. But no, I did not. But I'm going to be on that. I was hoping you forget that. That is my goal. I'm going to try to schedule some, perhaps for at least one for President's Day.
All right,
I didn't make my own appointments, but I made appointments for my kids.
All right, now you're next. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right, but what about you, Kathleen? That is important, but what's your challenge for the week?
Oh, my challenge for the week is I have got to get my booster shot. Like, I keep telling myself every day that I'm just gonna run to the pharmacy and get it done, and I still haven't done it. So that's gonna be my challenge this week, because I'm past due or overdue, or I just want to get it done and over with.
All right.
So that's my challenge.
Okay. Good one.
I your idea of laying out clothes for the kids the night before, only because I get all 3 ready and dropped off to school or my mom's. I like that idea because it does make a huge difference. When everything's out, the socks are out, the shoes are out, it's a lot more streamlined and less crazy than running around the house looking for everything. So I'm gonna try that each night.
All right, perfect. And I don't even do it each night. I just took an hour on Sunday and I did 5 for the whole week.
I like it even better.
Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that.
And then it was done. So now it's nice to just hang in there on a hook on the back of the door. I just pick one of the outfits and don't have to worry about it. And what about you, Court?
So this week I've really been focusing on patience. So I am challenging myself to be patient with myself, with my kids, and with my husband, because I'm always like I'm like doing something, but I'm trying to get ready for the next thing, and I'm just need to slow down and focus on the task in front of me. So that's been my challenge this week.
All right, perfect. All right, so I think we have a great show. We had a great show tonight. We have a new edition. I'm so excited. Some new. I'm not as depressed now about not seeing your beautiful face, and especially now that it's all glowing with the new skincare line. It's fabulous.
Well, thanks for letting me join and crash your guys' party. It was super fun.
All
Yeah,
right.
the more the merrier.
Well, yeah, we'll see you next week. And I love the kids popping in. We had Maddie on there who's lip syncing. We could do a little bit of, we could do some karaoke. That could be Maddie's segment. And thanks to the viewers. Kimberly saying, great show, ladies. Bye, Maddie. Justin's looking into the Erasing Race for us. Thank you, Justin. Bobby, thanks you for being here. We appreciate it. What else? Becca, of course. It was truly great to have you as part of the conversation, Beck. Bye, Ryan. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you on camera next week. So we had a great, of course, we always want to thank our main man behind the scenes, Chris P. Bacon. nothing would run smoothly without him. So thank you can play us out.